When you stand at the crossroads of life, you will always be confronted with a choice. And the choice is not between many options, though the world will disguise it that way.
The real decision boils down to one simple question. Do you choose good, or do you choose the world? Because you cannot choose both. One will elevate you, the other will entangle you. One will pull you toward eternity, the other will chain you to temporary pleasures. One will shape your character, the other will corrupt your soul. See, the world is loud, the world is attractive. The world is seductive. It dangles its treasures in front of your eyes, making promises it can never keep. It says, if you just get more, if you climb higher, if you compromise a little, you'll find fulfillment. But once you chase it, you discover the shine is only surface deep. It's like chasing shadows. By the time you reach what you thought would satisfy you, it's already slipped away. But choosing good, that's different. Choosing good means aligning your heart with what is right, not just what feels right. Choosing good means elevating values above convenience. Choosing good means standing firm when compromise looks easier, when temptation looks sweeter, when shortcuts look faster. Good may not glitter the way the world does, but it carries substance. Good may not always win applause, but it builds foundations that storms cannot wash away. And here's the challenge. The world will not let you go without a fight. It will put pressure on you to conform, to blend in, to keep quiet when you should speak, to go along when you should stand apart. The world wants to shape you in its image, but good requires you to resist that mold. You will be ridiculed for choosing good. You will be misunderstood. People may even call you foolish for turning away from what everyone else is chasing. But what they don't see is that while the world is temporary, good is eternal. You must decide which voice you will listen to. Will you listen to the noise of the world that shouts, "Take now, enjoy now, live for now"? Or will you heed the whisper of good that says, "Do what is right, even if it costs you, even if it delays you, even if it isolates you"? Because your decision today shapes your destiny tomorrow, this is not a casual choice. It's not a matter of convenience. It's a matter of allegiance. Either you align yourself with what is eternal, or you attach yourself to what is passing away. Either you invest in treasures that last, or you spend yourself on things that will one day burn to ash. The world offers you comfort, but good offers you conviction. The world offers you popularity, but good offers you purpose. The world offers you temporary gain, but good offers you everlasting life. When we talk about the difference between good and the world, the first thing that must be settled is this: good is eternal, but the world is temporary. That one truth shifts the entire perspective of life. Because if something is eternal, then it lasts beyond the moment, beyond the season, beyond the generation. If something is temporary, it has an expiration date, no matter how strong it looks today. So when you choose between good and the world, you're really choosing between something that will outlive you and something that will fade even while you're still holding it. Think about how the world presents itself. It looks permanent, it looks powerful, it looks like it has the final word. But every kingdom that has risen in history has eventually fallen. Every empire that once ruled the earth has crumbled into ruins. Every treasure stored up in vaults and banks has been eaten away by time, stolen by thieves, or destroyed by decay. The world shouts that it will last, but the evidence says otherwise. The world is a vapor, a mist, a shadow. You can touch it, you can taste it. You can even build your life around it. But it will vanish when you need it most. Now compare that to good.
Good doesn't always sparkle in the present, but it never loses its value.
Good is eternal because it is rooted in truth that doesn't shift with the seasons, doesn't bend to the culture, and doesn't break under pressure. When you choose good, you are investing in something that no thief can steal, no fire can consume, and no time can erase. It carries you beyond this life into the next. The decisions made on the basis of good echo into eternity, long after your name is forgotten on earth. Good is not bound by calendars or clocks. It belongs to forever. The problem is that people often trade the eternal for the temporary. They give up what will last for what feels good in the moment. They settle for the shine of the world while ignoring the weight of eternity. It's like exchanging a diamond for a piece of glass, because the glass happens to sparkle brighter under the current light. The world has mastered the art of dressing up the temporary as if it were eternal. But no matter how polished it looks, it cannot stand the test of time. When you build your life on the world, you're building on sand. It may feel solid under your feet today, but when the storm comes, and storms always come, it will collapse. But when you build your life on good, you're anchoring yourself to something immovable. Good doesn't promise that storms won't come, but it guarantees that you won't be swept away when they do. Because eternal things hold firm even when temporary things fall apart. Think about the decisions you make every day. If you choose the world, you might gain applause, recognition, wealth, and influence. But all of that will eventually fade, and you will be left with nothing but memories of what once was. If you choose good, you might lose some opportunities. You might face rejection. You might walk a harder road. But what you gain is something the world cannot offer. Peace that doesn't vanish when circumstances change, joy that doesn't depend on possessions, and a future that extends beyond the grave. The contrast couldn't be sharper. The world will tell you to live for today because tomorrow isn't promised. Good will tell you to live for eternity because tomorrow isn't the end. The world is obsessed with the visible, but good is anchored in the invisible. The world clings to what is fading, but good is rooted in what is everlasting. That is why the choice between good and the world is not just about morality or preference. It's about destiny. What you choose determines not only how you live, but how you finish. Good is eternal, the world is temporary. That means every time you choose good, you are stepping into something that cannot be undone, something that will still matter when all else has passed away. And every time you choose the world, you are stepping into something already marked for decay, something that looks strong now but is already on its way out. So the question you must settle in your heart is not just what feels right today, but what will remain standing tomorrow. The world makes bold promises. It tells you that if you just get more of what it offers, you will be satisfied. It says if you climb higher, if you earn more, if you achieve greater status, if you indulge in its pleasures, you will finally feel complete. It lures you with glitter, with applause, with the temporary thrill of success. The world promises pleasure in abundance, but the reality is that once you reach for it, once you grab hold of it, the satisfaction slips through your fingers like water. What seemed like fulfillment turns into emptiness. What seemed like joy dissolves into disappointment, and what looked like gain becomes loss. This is the deception of the world. It builds up your appetite, but never feeds your soul. It knows how to advertise, but it cannot deliver. It's like a mirage in the desert. It looks real from a distance, but when you run toward it, when you spend your energy chasing it, you find nothing but dry sand. You end up thirstier than when you began. People spend entire lifetimes chasing the world's promises, but at the end they discover they invested everything into something that gave nothing back. Take a close look at history and you'll see it clearly. Men and women who had power, wealth, and influence beyond imagination still confessed their emptiness. They had access to every pleasure the world could provide, but the gnawing hunger inside them remained. Because the human heart was never designed to be filled by temporary things, the soul was made for something eternal, and when it is fed only with what is fleeting, it stays hungry. The world promises to satisfy, but it only leaves you longing for more. Think about how the world traps people in cycles. It tells you that one more purchase will bring peace. One more achievement will make you whole. One more relationship will make you secure. And for a moment, there is a spark of excitement. But the spark dies quickly, and you are left looking for the next thing, then the next and the next. The cycle never ends because emptiness cannot be filled with emptiness. The world never intends to satisfy you. It intends to keep you chasing so you never notice how empty it really is. When you choose the promises of the world, you are choosing a path of frustration. You are chasing what cannot last, leaning on what cannot hold you, trusting in what cannot sustain you. The world's pleasures might look sweet, but they have no staying power. They are like sugar. It gives you a quick rush, but it leaves you weaker afterward. It promises life, but delivers weariness. It promises joy, but delivers regret. It promises freedom, but delivers bondage. And yet, people keep reaching for it, blinded by its shine, unwilling to admit the emptiness that follows every indulgence. The world has a way of dressing up emptiness so it looks like substance. It paints smiles on brokenness. It covers wounds with glitter. It puts perfume on decay. But underneath the presentation, there is nothing that can sustain a soul. That is why so many live with quiet despair. They may appear successful, they may appear happy, they may even appear fulfilled, but when the noise fades, when the lights go out, when they are left alone with themselves, the emptiness roars louder than the applause ever did. The promises of the world are designed to distract you from truth. They are designed to keep you busy with what looks appealing, so you never stop to realize how hollow it is. And the tragedy is that many people will spend their entire lives investing in those promises, only to arrive at the end of the road with regret. Regret that they chose shadows over substance. Regret that they chose the temporary over the eternal. Regret that they chose what looked like gain but turned out to be loss. The world promises pleasure but delivers emptiness. And that is why the choice you make between good and the world is not small. It is not just about what feels good now. It is about whether you will be deceived into chasing what will never satisfy, or whether you will stand on what cannot fail. Choosing good is not about taking the easy path. It is about living with conviction when convenience would be simpler. Conviction means you are anchored to truth no matter how strong the current pulls against you. It means you decide in advance that your values will not be for sale, your integrity will not be negotiated, and your principles will not be adjusted to fit the circumstances. Convenience, on the other hand, says you can bend the rules when it helps you. You can cut corners when no one is looking. You can compromise just a little if it makes life smoother. But the difference between living by conviction and living by convenience is the difference between building on rock and building on sand. Conviction is costly because it forces you to stand when everyone else is bowing. It requires you to say no when everyone else is saying yes. It asks you to swim against the current when the tide of culture demands you go along. People may look at you and wonder why you don't just relax, why you don't just give in, why you don't just take the easier way.
But what they don't realize is that conviction looks ahead, while convenience only looks at the moment.
Conviction asks, what will this choice mean 5 years from now, 10 years from now, in eternity? Convenience only asks, what feels good right now? When you choose good, you choose to live by conviction, even if it costs you relationships, opportunities, or acceptance. You choose to guard your heart and your actions, because you know that one small compromise today can set you on a road that leads far from where you want to be. The world celebrates convenience. It applauds shortcuts. It rewards compromise. It elevates those who can bend with the times. But good calls you to be different, to be steadfast, to plant your feet on truth even if you are standing alone. Conviction does not mean you will always feel strong. There will be times when temptation looks appealing, when compromise looks harmless, when convenience looks practical. Conviction is not about feeling. It is about choosing. It is the inner resolve to do what is right even when it is costly, to obey truth even when it is unpopular, to stay faithful even when others abandon the path. Convenience will always look easier, but it comes with a hidden price. Every time you choose convenience over conviction, you lose a piece of your foundation. Eventually, the structure of your life becomes too weak to stand. Consider the stories of those who stood with conviction in the face of opposition. They may have been mocked, rejected, or even persecuted, but their lives still speak today because conviction carries a weight that convenience cannot. Convenience fades with the moment, but conviction leaves a legacy. It may not earn applause now, but it earns respect that endures. When storms come, people look for those whose convictions have not been shaken, those who held to truth when others wavered, those who stood firm when others gave in. Choosing good demands conviction, because good is not always celebrated in a world that loves compromise. Good requires you to make decisions that will not win you popularity, but will win you peace. It requires you to stand firm when the world says bend, to remain pure when the world says indulge, to speak truth when the world says stay silent. Conviction may cost you comfort, but it gives you character. Conviction may cost you opportunities, but it gives you strength. Conviction may cost you acceptance, but it gives you peace that convenience can never buy. The world will always test your convictions. It will place you in situations where compromise looks small and harmless. It will tell you that everyone else is doing it, that it won't matter in the long run, that you're being too rigid. But conviction is what protects you from becoming someone you never intended to be. Conviction is what guards your heart from being slowly pulled into conformity with the world. Conviction is what keeps you aligned with what is eternal, instead of being distracted by what is temporary. Choosing good demands conviction over convenience, because convenience can never carry you through the trials of life. When the pressure mounts, when the cost increases, when the stakes are high, convenience collapses. Only conviction can stand. And if you are going to choose good, you must be prepared to pay the price of conviction, knowing that while it may cost you now, it will preserve you later. The world has never been neutral. It does not sit back and politely allow you to choose your own way. It applies pressure. It works on you.
It surrounds you with voices that insist you must conform, that you must look like everyone else, talk like everyone else, live like everyone else. From the moment you open your eyes in the morning to the time you close them at night, the world is whispering and shouting, persuading and tempting, urging you to fit in rather than stand out. It shapes the culture around you so that compromise looks normal and conviction looks strange. It rewards those who blend in and punishes those who dare to be different. The world pressures you into its mold, but good requires you to resist that mold and refuse to be shaped by it. The pressure is real because conformity offers comfort. If you go along with the crowd, you are less likely to be questioned, ridiculed, or excluded. If you simply do what everyone else is doing, you can avoid the uncomfortable stares and difficult conversations. But the cost of that comfort is your uniqueness, your integrity, your identity. You begin to lose the distinctiveness of who you were meant to be when you trade resistance for conformity. The world may leave you alone if you conform, but it robs you of the very essence of good that you were called to live out. Resistance, on the other hand, is never easy. It means saying no when others are saying yes. It means refusing to laugh at what others find funny, refusing to accept what others call normal, refusing to participate in what others celebrate. Resistance can feel lonely because you often find yourself walking against the tide. But resistance is where strength is forged. It is where character is tested and refined. It is where the line is drawn between those who simply go along with the world and those who choose good regardless of the cost. The world knows that if it can make you comfortable with compromise, it doesn't need to destroy you outright. If it can keep you silent when you should speak, if it can make you passive when you should act, if it can wear you down little by little, then it has already won. That is why the call to choose good is always accompanied by the call to resist. To resist is to fight the subtle shaping of the world and to stand firm in what you know to be right. Resistance is not about being rebellious for the sake of rebellion. It is about refusing to bow down to the values and standards that contradict truth. When you resist the world, you are not just saying no to pressure. You are saying yes to something greater. You are saying yes to good that outlasts trends, to truth that doesn't bend with time, to a way of life that is built on substance instead of appearance. Resistance is the declaration that you will not trade what is eternal for what is temporary, that you will not surrender your convictions for the sake of acceptance, that you will not be molded by age. A world that is already passing away, the cost of resistance is often visible. You may be criticized, you may be misunderstood, you may even be rejected. People may call you narrow, rigid, outdated, or extreme. But every act of resistance strengthens your foundation. Every time you say no to the world's pressure, you reinforce your allegiance to what is good. And over time, resistance becomes not just an action but a posture, a way of standing that makes it clear you will not be moved. The world will never stop trying to conform you. Its pressure will come through entertainment, through conversations, through the systems of society, through the examples of others who have chosen compromise. It will come subtly and aggressively, quietly and loudly. And if you are not intentional, you will find yourself drifting with the current without ever realizing how far you have been carried. Resistance demands vigilance. It demands awareness. It demands the courage to recognize the mold of the world and the boldness to reject it every single time. Good requires resistance because good cannot be lived in harmony with a world that is in rebellion against it. Good demands a clear line.
It requires you to plant your feet, to stiffen your spine, and to say, I will not bow, I will not bend, I will not blend in. It calls you to live in such a way that your life itself becomes resistance to the lies and pressures of the world. And though the cost may be high, the strength that comes from resisting the world cannot be gained any other way. Every choice you make reveals more than your preference in the moment. It reveals where your loyalty lies. When you stand between good and the world, the decision you take is not neutral. It speaks about your allegiance. It declares who or what has the right to rule over your life. You cannot serve both. Every time you choose good, you are affirming that your allegiance is to truth, to integrity, to what is eternal. Every time you choose the world, you are declaring that your allegiance is to what is passing away, to what looks appealing now but will vanish tomorrow. Your life is shaped not by the words you say, but by the choices you consistently make. Anyone can claim to value good while still living in alignment with the world. Words can be polished, but actions are revealing. The repeated pattern of decisions is like a compass pointing toward your true loyalty. If convenience, popularity, or possessions always tip the scale, then your allegiance has been quietly given to the world. If integrity, conviction, and righteousness weigh heavier, then your allegiance is with good. The danger lies in believing you can live with divided allegiance. The world tells you that you can mix the two, that you can choose good when it is convenient and choose the world when it feels easier. But divided allegiance never works. Eventually, one will overpower the other. Your heart cannot be anchored in two places at once. Trying to balance good and the world is like trying to walk in opposite directions. At the same time, you will be torn apart. Allegiance is tested in the small choices before it is revealed in the big ones. When you choose honesty over deception in daily interactions, you are declaring your loyalty to good. When you resist gossip, slander, or compromise, even when it costs you socially, you are showing your allegiance. When you guard your thoughts and actions in private, when no one else is watching, you are proving where your loyalty truly rests. Conversely, when you cut corners in small ways, when you compromise on little things, when you repeatedly choose what is comfortable over what is right, you are quietly pledging allegiance to the world. The world will always try to disguise allegiance as something optional. It will tell you that you can still belong to good even if you live like the world. It will whisper that loyalty is flexible, that you can shift it depending on circumstances. But allegiance is not something you can pick up and put down. It is not situational. It is revealed by the consistency of your life. And when the pressures of life intensify, whatever allegiance you have truly chosen will rise to the surface. Choosing good means you may have to walk away from things the world celebrates. It means you may have to endure seasons where you look like you are losing while others are gaining. But your allegiance is not measured by the world's scoreboard. It is measured by the strength of your faithfulness. Allegiance to good is not about perfection, but about direction. Even when you stumble, even when you fall short, your heart is still anchored in good, and that allegiance pulls you back, corrects you, and sets you on course again. Allegiance to the world, on the other hand, leads you further into compromise, deeper into emptiness, and eventually into ruin. Your choice of allegiance determines your legacy. If your allegiance is to the world, your achievements may be remembered for a moment, but they will fade like everything else that is temporary. If your allegiance is to good, your life will echo far beyond what people can see today. It will inspire, it will guide, it will bear fruit long after you are gone,
because allegiance to what is eternal leaves a mark that time cannot erase.